World's Music. He was talking about that he's on Spotify and a lot of different places. He just dropped 2 albums this year. We're happy to have him with us. He's also working on productions that he's creating. Mr. J Guns Official himself has been creating a lot of different music and jumping into a lot of different projects online. And if you go on his pages, he also runs the PZ Show, which has been running for 4 or 5 years on a different channel. So if you go and follow his channel, make sure the connecting channel of PZ Show, you go ahead and you follow that too on TikTok, on Instagram, on everywhere that you find him, because he is all over the place.
Yeah.
Just like me, we all have our original pages as well, like Relia _ the real chick is mine. A lot of people, we're everywhere. Like,
I'm not
Google
even gonna
me.
lie though. I've
At
been
this
trying to
point, I
work
say
on building
Google.
my TikTok page, so if y'all want to tap in with me over there too, that'd be pretty
I'm
cool.
working on my TikTok. I'm trying to get up there with my TikTok. I'm actually doing really well. The Lit Squad podcast is on TikTok. We are at 104,000 views right now, which is amazing.
Respectfully, let's get
Respectfully, we're
it.
getting it on TikTok. We will be doing live streams on TikTok later on this month. We have been
Yeah,
working
once we
on
get
that.
our
So we're trying to
pages
get ourselves
established, because
together.
it seems like we keep
Exactly.
having a bit of a tie up on this whole situation. So once
Like we
we
could
get
use it.
full access, child, to talk, this one's targeted at TikTok. If once you give us full access to our profiles,
So
sir,
no, we
we'll
do
be
have.
all right.
We do greetings to Brigida Blessed. I see that she's
Yeah,
on
yeah.
here. Is that one of your
Yeah, shout
friends?
out to you, Queen.
So
We
shout
was just
out to
having
her for coming on.
having a conversation in the group chat for Fat Man Scoop, man. Like, yeah, somebody had posted a drop from one of his quotes that he posted on his page, and got us all thinking about the brother. So if anybody knows Fat Man Scoop, you know what I mean. His anniversary's coming up. He passed away
peace. Yeah.
a year ago in August. So like, I hope y'all guys are looking to, show you contributions and contribute to the fact that hip hop had a twist when hip hop met Fat Man Scoop. It it got a party vibe that nobody was ready for, and I respectfully agree that like he really made us get up out of our seats and dance. And that was respectfully the thing that he loved to do for everybody.
That man did a lot of different things for the community as well. If you ever look into Fat Man Scoop,
just the
heart that he had, and really, he was actually, I think he was at a, if I'm not mistaken, he was at a charity event when he had his heart attack or whatever that happened to him. He was always
when
trying
he
to
collapsed on stage, he was at a charity event.
that just goes to show you the type of man that he was. He was always, for the people, for the kids, great family man. But God always takes the good ones first. That's how it goes.
That is,
you know what I'm saying?
Respectfully, how it goes. So
it's sad, but it's true, and it's really something that we hate to see, but it happens. I mean, I work with funeral services as an event coordinator, so I see it all the time. But it really is something when they touch our hearts, and we definitely are grateful for the DJs or the people in the industry that we have met over the years. I am from Brooklyn, New York, and J Guns is from up in upstate Albany right now.
Upstate. Yeah, I'm not from the city, but respectfully so. You know what I mean? We like neighbors because most of y'all come up here. Some of the folks that come up here, they come mostly in my area just to vacate or to get away from the city life. It's just a more laid back area, but we still bucking, getting nuts with it. They looking to try to regulate some of that.
Listen, if you're from New York if you're from New York or you live in New York, you already know what time it is. I mean, all 5 boroughs, up and down south, or whichever way you're gonna go, left or right.
If
you know it, you know it. Like I'm from Coney Island, so we beat on the damn benches and make a whole song. We use the echo of the projects to freaking make the song sound dope and shit before we actually got into the studio. You know what I'm saying? We was doing freestyling and battling in the parks and stuff and having a good time. It's a whole nother deal when you live in the the concrete jungle. I mean, I much respect to anybody like me that's born and raised up there and then ventured out. I ventured out down south to the Florida area. New York never left me. Everybody said they always they could tell once they be trying to get me to say coffee all the time. I don't know why. you know what I mean? Like, oh, what the fuck is going on? Especially when I get angry. I guess I don't know.
We get some cool feet.
Like, I gotta get pissed off for my New York to really come out. That's the problem.
Right.
But
I mean, like,
I try to
I'm
hide
not
it.
even
I
from
try to
the
hide
city,
it. But
but
then
your head come from me
yeah, when
sometimes.
somebody acting up and you're like, what the fuck you think you doing?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here with
Yeah.
that shit. And they're like,
Fuck
oh yeah, she's from
out
Boston. I'm like, Boston, bitch? No, New York. I'm from Brooklyn. But like, you know, and shout out to Boston because we love Boston, you know. But ain't nobody,
absolutely.
you know, yo, my pizza's a little better than yours. I don't know, but you know,
Well,
it is what it is.
I'm just
Brooklyn
keeping it
pizza,
real.
not like Brooklyn pizza, but you know, I mean, growing up there, and then I lived in about 5, 6 other states before. I've tried different things, and I've done a lot of shows. I don't talk about it because I'm a very humble person, but I've done a lot of shows up and down the East Coast, and worked with a lot of amazing independent record labels and a lot of different videography people that are friends of mine that I'm learning how to do it myself over the years. Been looking for the right person to help me project out what I want. You know, just so I've been doing this online for about 4 or 5 years, but I actually been doing music since I don't remember, maybe 14, 15 years old. My birthday's coming up.
Believe it or not, how I started, which is ironic that you mentioned your start. My start kind of came a little different. I was young, very impressionable. I wanted to, make friends, and I didn't have any, anything that made me unique. I tried football, I failed. I wasn't really good enough to get on, school teams and all that stuff like that. But even in the same sense, you know what I mean? I tried to fit in some kind of way. So one of the biggest things I realized I had come up with the creative idea about, because I was more like, hey, let me find my first girlfriend and maybe she'll help me to focus on making music, right? Um, that happened to come from poetry. So I started when I was like 14, 15. I met this young, nice girl. She and I were a little different in age spectrum. I think she was a few years younger. But, as I was growing up, I met her family. I kind of got into her whole situation to the point where, like, more or less, like, I met her and I really just, like, regardless of whether you would be with me or not, I will be here for you type of person.
Well, my
And
story
even
is
if we didn't
completely
turn
different.
into a relationship,
I
we've
wish
been
my story had
family.
something to do with a man making me want to sing or something.
Right.
That sounds kind of cool.
And that was kind of what it
Yeah.
was. It started off as me writing poetry to her, because she used to always say,
okay.
"You got something to say to me?"
That's really
And I would always
nice.
write her I would read her little poems that I had already wrote, something that I thought was sounding pretty good, because I used to do that too, because I write poetry and get a bunch of people to give me their opinion about the poem that I wrote, that I read. So if they liked it, I kept it. If not, then it was like, ugh, I don't know how I feel. I might throw it away.
Okay.
But then, like, there was a time where I just wrote poems and kind of kept them to myself, and those were the ones that I ended up inevitably giving her. And she, to this day, told me she still has them.
Though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
my story is completely different. Like, I completely, like, I wish I could say I learned music out of love or something like that, but it wasn't that kind of thing. It was more growing up in a rough area, and it was just what we did when we had nothing else to do, sitting out in the park, sitting out waiting for class to start, just hanging out in the hallways, hanging out and doing a manhunts in the projects and hanging out with everybody. And it was just, to me, rapping was just always a part of thing. Coney Island and Brooklyn, New York. I got shout out all the people from over there. I grew up over there, so it was kind of like, it was what we did. You know what I'm saying? And I never really thought of anything else than, I mean, it was just for fun. I mean, just growing up, going to the studio in Bed-Stuy. The first studio I ever been to was in Bedford-Stuyvesant, where Biggie Smalls is from. Actually, 3 blocks away from where his mother had a house at one time. Then I lived in Queens. I lived in Southside Jamaica, Queens, across the street from 50 Cent's grandma house. And I used to work on Guy Brewer. There was a studio I used to go to that was down there. Then I went to Ozone Park. There was another bunch of people that's down there I used to do music with, and they had a recording studio in a garage. So in New York, growing up before internet and all that, I would go into the studio and they would pick with me because I'm a female. Obviously, I had friends that brought me there. and they would literally be like, "Who burned their girlfriend?" or something. I'm like, "I'm here to rap. I'm here to sing," and they used to laugh. And they used to put
Right.
like 4 or 5 beats on and be like, "Well, if you can't kill these beats, you can't be here." You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to see what you could do. So I started to do that, and sometimes, you know, I was young, and they're like, "Oh, you know, you got to come back next week. You ain't doing all that, whatever." Or sometimes in battles and stuff, they had some battle raps in the parks and stuff like that, and I go out there and just try. It wasn't like I was a big freestyler. I was a writer. I had books and books and books of writing material, and I wrote my songs. And I just remember, you know,
No more for
just
you.
just wanting to do just
I'm
wanting to do
listening.
music. But you
I
see,
just took my
the
insulin.
world
I'm
the world
sorry.
that we live in
Sorry.
now with the internet
Yeah.
and shit, this is amazing how anybody can actually record on DAW systems that's inside of apps
What?
and
Are you
inside.
kidding me?
I mean,
That's
I'm
what
used
I
to
was
going
just
in.
about to get it
Yeah,
into
I'm
on
used to
my
going
part
into
of
a
this
recording
so bad.
studio. The producers there,
Yeah.
they play a song on a CD and they gave it to me. I went home, I would record it, I would
Listen,
go back. I would recite it. If they didn't like it, they would make me change my words, or they
all
would
of
tell
it.
me if I was in the booth, they turn off my music
Yep.
and tell me through my headphones, like, you know, hey, your breathing wasn't right, or you didn't pronounce this word right, and I would
Yep.
have to stop and do the entire song over. So it's like a
Absolutely.
blessing
You
of
got
a
that
blessing and a curse.
structure.
It's a blessing that, yes, I was created into music through a series of independent
Yep.
artists that had actual record labels that I was working with, and I would do ad libs or choruses with them for their
Same here.
actual artists in order to get my studio time and stuff. So
Right.
when I was
It was the
raising up,
same.
when I
It
was
was the
younger,
same deal with me.
yeah.
Like, and what was even more significant was they were started. It started as my cousin because my shout out to my oldest cousin Tammy T, DJ Tammy T, up here in the Northeast, former DJ of our local city where I'm at right now. Like, she got me started when I told her when I was younger. I think I was like 16, 17, right around the time I
I
had
can't
moved
see you
back
right,
to New York.
right now. Your screen is dark.
Screen dark.
Yeah,
Hold on.
but I mean, it's amazing how far music has
Right.
come. I mean, I just remember you go, maybe they give you 2 or 3 beats, you go home, you work on them damn beats, and you be
Mm-hmm.
working hard, and then you come back and you might have write it 2,
Can
3
you see me
times
now?
different, a little bit. You're like in a dark area,
I
right?
don't even know. Maybe
Uh,
that's so weird.
where's your friend? He's not there.
I was just about to say, Corey,
Yeah.
do me a favor, bro. Can you
Do you have
see
the
if the
light
light is
on?
on?
The light is off in there.
Yeah. Corey.
Maybe
I
yeah.
think he's asleep.
Corey, better get up and pick that up. You know where the light switch is?
Can you do me a favor? Check and see if the light is on.
Oh shit! I'm sorry.
What?
I turned it off.
Thank
Oh,
you.
snap. My
Thank
bad.
you.
My bad.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good friend. That's a good
Yeah.
friend. But turn it around. The
It's
camera's
dude.
showing the floor.
Oh,
Your
man.
camera's
I
showing the
got you.
floor. You got like showing the garbage and stuff.
Yeah,
All right, now we can see
it
you.
has a weird
You better go throw
setting
out
on
that
it where it
garbage.
shows the back and it shows the front, and it's so weird. It's so
I
weird.
know.
It says it's
I
the
got
front
you.
and it
I
shows
got you,
the back.
brother. I got you, my brother, through God. It's okay. Everybody knows that as talented as you are, that you are in loss of sight.
I,
So it's okay. So
and
I
if
have to
it
make
don't
sure.
settle, if it hasn't set in by now, good God
Yeah, for
Almighty,
all
where
of
are
those
we
that
at,
have been
people?
watching, he is a blind rapper. He is a blind person giving complete access to what God has given him in his pineal gland, actually, to tell you guys everything that he does. His research and everything is legitimate. It was really much on time when it comes to real lifetime things that's happening with the political stances and stuff. He has a lot to speak on a lot of different issues. But I tell you one thing: when I'm going through something and I call him, he can see things without his sight that nobody that
Mm-hmm.
can see. So it's really
Right.
amazing. That's what I'm saying. Like the changes in music, the changes in life that you have to
Mm-hmm.
adjust to. People don't realize how blessed sometimes they really are in this world. They don't.
Right. And that's the other thing about me. Most people that even hear the first introduction of me as a person and an artist is the fact that I was not blind my whole life. This happened to me during my journey through life. I had 29 years of full sight. I'm about to next month celebrate 11 years without my eyes. So at the end of the day, like the challenges that I've gone through just in the first 10 years of this is a lot. You know what I mean? And most people
People
aren't
wouldn't be able to
prepared
do
to
it.
take
There's so many
that
people
kind
wouldn't
of
be able to do
path,
that.
fam.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, this stuff is the kind of stuff that can make you want to give up on yourself because of all the things you
You know
deal
what?
with,
What's so
stresses
crazy?
you have
The
about
people,
life
the
already.
people with sight are not even. They take for granted the fact that they can see. The people that can hear
Yes,
take for granted the fact they can. The people that can walk, and some people are stuck in wheelchairs. The people that are,
absolutely.
like I was watching a special on that, you know, we don't understand until we lose a sense of some sort that we're used to
Hmm.
using. How crucial it is, the minor senses that we have, and then when we do, how much more you literally living off of your hearing.
Right. That's
So
basically
can you like
it.
that's amazing. That's
Right.
amazing that you can do that. That is a God-given gift that at least your hearing is still intact, you know?
Hmm.
And like really
Hmm.
intact, because you be hearing shit I don't even hear sometimes. I'll be like, bro.
Man, and I tell you what it is to me. I think, sis, because of the simple fact
Your
I did
vibrations
a
and
bit of
everything is
study on
vibration and
like
hearing, right?
right. It's sort of like it's sort of the thing I tell everybody because as you see and you read about the history or information in the biography of the average like bat or blind animal on this earth, they don't see through their eyes, they see with their ears. Whatever they pick up is a sound that has bounced off of something else or come from somewhere else, and they can hone in on the centralization of where that actually sound was last located. So it'd be like hunting you by your footprints in the forest type of thing.
Mm.
Because can't see your prints, but we hear your steps through the woods. You dig?
Yeah.
So yeah, like you know what I mean. The hunter, the person that lives through situations similar to that, you know what I mean. You gotta have a level of fearlessness in you because hell, I just talked to my friend earlier today, and he was telling me he's seen a couple other people that live in my very area where I'm at now that are similar to my situation, and that just explains to me that there is a prevalence in this area, particularly due to the fact that there are more of us over this way, that they have a lot more levels of protection and care, security type of, effects towards people like me. Because, man, there's been times I done jaywalk. I ain't gonna cap to you. I done jaywalk in the street, crossing the street, traffic on the way down the road, but I get across the street, no problem, or they'll slow down and wait for me to cross. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you don't see that in a regular, like, high power fluctuating town. Like, see, you wouldn't do no shit like that in New York City. We'll put it
No.
like that. You know what I'm saying? And shit, walking through a crosswalk might get you fucked up in New York City. You know what I'm saying? Like, but at the same time, the fact that I know this neighborhood, a lot of these people probably still recognize my face from when I was a young kid growing up in here. And I didn't stay long, but my family has been here a very long time. So for that sense, if I don't know you, it's because you ain't seen me yet, and you don't know my family that I know. You know, because at the end of the day, a lot of this whole city about where I'm from is mostly about who you know. Because most of us came up from the South. If you live here and you weren't, your family ain't from here. You know, most cases is your family moved up here to this city and y'all been here for a minute, your family been here for a minute, and y'all just kind of, yeah, we from Albany. we done lost 2 generations from the South, so we put involved in it, you know.
No matter
But
where I move, my heart is always in New York. Like
yeah,
no matter what,
respectfully.
I wrote my first poem in the middle of Columbus Circle at the end of 42nd Street, all the way down by Central Park. I used to run away home, and I used to sit there when I was young and a teenager, and just go there right before sunset, so that way I could watch the whole entire strip just light up in front of my eyes,
What
and then
that?
just watch the horses and different
Yeah.
that was there, or in the train stations how they have the people dancing,
Mhm.
and the food that they have is like incredible food from every culture,
What?
and that's what hurts me the most, or what's going on with this administration. That it's not fair. They're taking hundreds of thousands of people away that are so important to me and what
What?
created the
What
atmosphere of
I've
what I grew
noticed.
up with in New York.
Yeah, and respectfully, what I've noticed about this whole situation is he's trying to scratch away the history that made this country the place it is today, because we have gained more respect due to the fact that at one point this government was doing the work needed to clean up the negative impression that this country left on the rest of the world, and becoming a good and high level ranking amongst the rest of the world leaders country like we did at one point makes the situation more feasible to us, because we all sit and ask ourselves, when was this country great to us? When did we have the highest level of the greatest reputations going on in our country? And honestly, I believe, to my own knowledge of the situation, prior to the new current administration being a part of all of this, what we knew to be the way to control our lives more progressively towards enriching ourselves, not just the fucking person that's in that White House, the fucking country, the people that run this country, that keep this goddamn thing ticking. You dig me?
It,
That, to
it
me,
hurts. It hurts
it
about
makes
the fact that
it's about
I mean,
that.
and then the stupid shit. Like I wake up and I'm like, Musk is going back and forth with him all damn day, arguing like two little kids,
He done did a
and he was talking
complete
about that.
360 on this whole
He
situation.
said,
Like, I
"Yo,
get it.
I was
This
like,
kind
why
of
are they
looks to the
fighting like
people.
kids and on the internet? I mean, what the fuck? What's the
Yeah,
point
like,
of that?"
this, I know what this looks like to most people. I get it. Like, you would think that they just had this one moment where they thought they was gonna be best friends for life, and then something happened where Trump decided to switch cards on him, and Musk didn't like it, and all of a sudden Musk is saying he don't fuck with him no more. Honestly and truthfully, unless I can hear it convicted and actually execute it, I don't believe they're going to be done with anything. I think they're going to just secretly move around
Yeah, but you
amongst
know
each
what
other and
happened,
try to keep less
bro?
attention on
Bro,
both
hold
of them
up, hold
being
up,
in
hold up,
the same
hold
square
up,
space. Like,
bro.
honestly,
Did
I
you
don't think he's
did
gonna.
you not
I don't
hear?
think he's done paying back the donation money that the Musk
Hold
gave to
up.
him.
Did you
So
did you hear about that? He said that the reason why he got kicked out of the White House is because Trump is on the Epstein Island fucking list of people.
he knew that, though. Let's not
That's
act like that wasn't
why he
true.
won't
That
release.
was
That's why he
actually
won't release
stated
it.
prior to the fact that the list was on display for the most of the people that were already open on the list to see. So at the end of the day, the fact that Trump's
I
name came up,
don't think
we
that it
knew
was
that
that, bro.
from the
You
jump
remember? You gotta
street with
remember.
the folks that
Nah,
knew
nah, but
him and were
you gotta hold
studying
up
this
with that.
situation.
Because think about it, Elon had access to shit that he never had access to before. You don't think he was gonna look
So
for the
at the end
shit
of
that
the
he
day,
wanted to find out?
that's how he all of a sudden figured it out. But for what it's worth, bro, you still stayed 4 months. You went with Doge, and then all of a sudden you're making this cut, this cut, this cut, and this cut. You had the authority over that, and you screwed the American people by putting this whole thing in motion and
I'm not
allowing it to
saying,
take
look,
place
I'm
because
not
you
saying
paid
that
for
Elon
it,
is a good
bro.
guy. Elon's a piece of shit. But
That's what I'm saying.
Elon
Like, you
ran
paid for this.
from
This is
shit,
why we
bro.
need to
Now,
remove dark money
I'm trying to
from
say,
politics.
Elon,
Anybody that is trying to pollute the government by
I believe,
buying a business or corporation
I put my
that's going
headphones
to
on.
level the playing field for their benefits and destroy the common people, this is not helping us. This is not what our government is even meant to do.
Bro,
So
I believe that Elon found something
yes,
that was
and let's
so,
hope it is something like
so
that.
psycho
I really do hope it is.
about Trump and that paperwork when he had our access. And
Listen,
then he just couldn't overlook it. Whatever
I
it
hope
was
so.
something that hit his fucking heart, which that he doesn't have because he's been screwing us over all this time. But something
This
was
whole time.
like the, something that he read or he saw about Trump while he was going through all those files and all that bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
It hit
Mm-hmm.
it. It finally hit a soft spot inside of that man. I honestly believe he found something that he couldn't look over because he turned his face with so many things that Trump was doing because it
Right.
was better than him. But then when he realized
Mm-hmm.
that at one point or another, if you rip off the whole country, there won't be no money to pay him. I guess so. He dipped off.
Hello. I mean, how you gonna get paid if ain't nobody else paid?
No,
Like, you pay,
right?
you already paid enough. You can
I
live
think
off of
it
your
was.
money right now without having to struggle.
Yeah.
But you choose to live the way you live. That's to why you have all of these financial issues. I know that I can't sustain living under your lifestyle, so I would choose to live in a smaller complex.
Exactly. I honestly think that something hit his boundary that he was reading. Something that he
Right.
uncovered was so severe that he couldn't look the other way and he knew he
It's
couldn't be
possible.
part of it. When it was going to come down, it's going to come down on all of them, whatever it is.
Yep.
It must have been something real big. I wish that we could find out. I mean, he's
It
mad enough
would
to
be
tell
nice
half of the
to know.
story. Let him tell the rest of the fucking story, right?
Absolutely. It would be nice to know. But I mean, like, the sudden change of heart to me, again, it until I can see you moving like you moved for him. You see what I'm saying?
That's
On
true.
not just the presidency, but the candidacy to lead to an actual constructive leader that is going to actually make
Well,
this
what
country great again.
his
And
biggest thing when he spoke out was the fact that Trump was part of the whole thing with the Epstein Island situation, and he was funding them and all that. And another thing
mm,
he said that I noticed that was kind of weird was oh my gosh, because it could just hit my train of thought. I wish we had the StreamYard because I could have just pulled it right up and showed everybody exactly what we're talking about.
hmm
But I mean, everybody knows. If you go and look, they're feuding between Trump and Elon, and it's a lot of drama going on. But there is some truth to some things that Elon is saying about Trump. You know what I mean? Like
now
he
when you
said
look
this,
at the fact
oh,
that he
it was
declouded
a
himself,
seven
but
seven
it's hard
billion
to
dollars
trust the
bill.
person that came out and openly admitted, you know what I mean, that he was on heavy drugs like ketamine and ecstasy and freaking all of these heavy drugs, along with Adderall to keep him up so he didn't fall asleep on things like this. Makes a what was once constructively creative thinking person look
It,
really bad.
it
You know
creates
what I
a
mean?
chemical. Yeah, what happens is it creates an atmosphere where the chemical balance inside of the brain no longer operates the same as a normal person.
Absolutely.
So we don't
And
have
this is come
the
and
same
this coming from
operative.
somebody who I'm an advocate pot smoker. So at the end of the day, I'm only speaking from my own situation. I smoke what I afford. But at the end of the day, if I have to deal with a bigger situation like my business or something to that effect, then I schedule and coordinate my situation so that my habit does not interfere with what I use to survive. You see what I mean? Like, you should never allow yourself. anybody to let something control your life like that. If it is costing you more to do that than to live, then why are you still doing it? You know, coming from somebody who had a heavy thing where I started, and I ran through 2 years of that, and afterwards, like I let go because truthfully, something I can't afford, I don't indulge. I who I am. That's for me to pay for. If I'm having to pay more than 2 digits, I'm gonna say if I gotta pay more than 2 digits, then I'm probably not gonna pay for it. I'm gonna be honest with you.
My
I'm
thing is
probably
that
gonna
you
look at
got
it twice.
so you have yeah, but you have a man that's been indicted, what, 91 indictments, and he's also
91, yes,
and then he also
and, and he
has a
already
felony.
convicted of
He's a
34
convicted
criminal
felon,
accounts of fraud. So
convicted
let's look
felon,
at that.
and then he is also involved with, pedophilia, because you think
Right,
he's talking about Epstein
he is
Island,
an adjudicated
and
sex
then
offender.
yeah,
Yes,
what the fuck, and then you're dealing with. There's also a clip that's resurfaced that was from a long time ago when he used to do the beauty pageants, when Trump
right.
actually
Like,
did
come on. Like,
pageants.
if it
Did you
wasn't
see that clip?
obvious,
Did you see the clip that he's
yeah,
talking
you
to
didn't even have
Howard
to go
Stern?
there because I've
Bro,
caught all kinds of
he did a
eerie
clip.
stuff when it comes to Trump and his beauty
Yeah, but he did
pageants
a clip that
because I
bugged me
was one
out.
of
It
those
bugged me out.
advocate watchers
It bugged
too.
me the fuck out. It was a clip that was from the Howard Stern show. Now, anybody that
Hmm.
remembers Howard Stern, who was a
Yep,
very
yep.
raunchy radio station guy, Trump went on there and was talking about how he used to go backstage during pageants, that because he owned the pageants,
Right.
and just wander into people's dressing rooms.
Basically
And
talking
he
about I'm
said,
doing an inspection, so
yeah,
I
that
can
he's
go through
doing inspection just so that way
your
he can.
dressing rooms if I want to, just to see if everything's still okay.
Yeah, and he was that disgusting with these young women and
Back
girls
then.
that were in there getting
And this
dressed.
was talking like the 70s and 80s and 90s.
It was
Come on,
disgusting
y'all.
that he did that to them. I thought, I was like, oh my god, and we have somebody like that as a president.
Right.
That's so
Mind you, we've
disgusting.
never had another president like
That
that. I
nobody's
wouldn't
like.
even say
First
never
of all,
because
we
when we think
usually
about
have
the
real
history
politicians
of,
as presidents. We
right,
usually have real
and then
politicians
when
in
you
Congress. We
then
don't
when
have
you
these
go back
circus
to the
clowns.
history of our forefathers, the forefathers did a
In
lot
order
of
for
shit
you,
that they
in
don't put
order for
out
you
on
to
public.
get
They
in order for you to get
never put
status
out
to be
the full
inside of the
story on
White
it.
House,
Right.
you had to have been like somebody very important. You know what I'm saying?
In
Like
order to even know about
you had
that information.
to have been a politician for many years to be
Right.
able to fucking get into Congress, senator positions, or any type of Pentagon position or federal position. It wasn't like you just were friends with somebody and you were a fucking into a whole nother field of practice and never went to
Right.
school for it or never worked your way up to
At
get
least
that position.
didn't have something to back you up.
I mean,
Because
look
at
at
the end
the
of the day,
Secretary of
like
State, or look at
if you want to
who
be
the
one
fuck
of
gave
these
them that
positions,
qualification when they were
right,
never a politician.
right,
The
and you
people he's the
never
guy.
study, you never went to civics classes,
Yeah, it
you
was
never
such
took civics
bullshit.
classes. Like this is something that makes no sense to me.
He
How we
just took a
even
bunch of
can
people that were
continue
like
to
on
engage
reality
in because
shows and
it's
made
like
them fucking
Trump didn't
politicians.
have shit to do with politics until he wanted to become something that he knew he was only
Yeah,
doing
but
to become
he has
like
people in there that don't even know never been in politics. They don't know anything about it, and they just come on. The guy who is, I mean, look at Jay. What is his name? RFJ, whatever his name is.
RFK Jr.
RFK. Yeah. Oh my God. God help us. How
Yeah,
could they put and that man in anything to do with science or medical? He's insane,
he's nuts. He's absolutely nuts. And for anybody
and he had
that's
nothing
paying attention
to
to
do with
that,
that. There's
please
doctors
stay
that is there
safe.
for all of us.
Stay safe, please. Because at the end of the day,
Let me tell
like,
you something. I can't really talk too much about my job,
mm,
but we're talking 5 to 10 funeral services a week of people that had bad problems with surgical that they're not surviving. So
right,
you got to think.
bad drugs, bad medical drugs, or just
No, about surgeries.
uninformed information about their health care, because it's just so bad when you look at the fact that they're
Yeah.
out here stripping us butt naked, and basically we're already halfway there as it is, us people on the bottom in the middle class. We're literally scraping from the bottom of the barrel trying to stay afloat, and we've been doing so under a certain regulation of how this government was run. Now we're dealing with the reverse situation where not only are we seeing the more fortunate people surviving and thriving and doing what they want to do, talking about all the beautiful trips that they like to go on and how much money they spent on something that sounds so frivolous and unimportant, that's just what made the headlines this week. It's it's killing
Let me tell
me.
you something. For people like us that we live paycheck to paycheck, and the only
Right.
way that we can go on vacation or do anything is just not being an addict and not being an alcoholic and saving that money for a good thing, because that doesn't happen very often. Everybody I
Right.
know, all the people that I love are addicted to something, either with the medications that the doctor gave, something from the
Mm-hmm.
street, or they go into alcoholism. And really,
Right.
that's what they want us to do, though, because then we won't have any money.
Yep.
We won't be able to save. It's barely hard enough that they didn't change minimum wage, but they're picking up all the rent, or because
Yep.
of the tariffs that the food are going sky high, rocketed fucking crazy in the supermarkets, that we can't
Yep.
even afford anything normal to eat anymore. We don't
Nope.
even know what we're eating anymore. Did you hear about that? China is now getting their beef from Australia.
Good.
Canada literally took all of our freaking products out of the shelves there. Like,
Basically.
what's
Yeah.
gonna happen in America, bro?
It's just so much taking place, and we seeing
Everybody just wants
the
to act like it's not happening.
the yeah, the consistent ignorance to it, cause like that to me is what I think enrages me the most
You know,
whenever we get to
today,
talking about this thing. Given the
I
fact that I'm an artist and I do
bro,
music, I live in this country, and I respectfully respect my ancestors that sacrificed their life to put this country to where it is today. Because if it wasn't for the combination of people in this country that got it all started, then it wouldn't be what it is right now.
yeah.
And I can't see how everyone views this as a me versus the
And
world
how
shit. And
everybody,
no one is
and
being respected out of this.
my thing that's killing me the most, especially as a Latina woman, is seeing the entire Latin race in America being obliterated, basically being sent to all type of countries, even if we're U.S.
Right.
citizens. What the hell is that? That's complete racism, and we want to
Mm-hmm.
disregard it, right? Because nobody's talking about that. It's literally targeted. Like if you look at even in CCOT, the majority, how you tell me what a black man or a white man is in CCOT, you know what I mean? You're seeing nothing but Hispanics
Yep.
in those videos. It's so horrible. And then it's ridiculous now how, because we were complaining and they took our advocates out. You go to whitehouse.com, guess what? They don't have a Spanish forum. There is no advocates for us in anywhere anymore because they removed them.
Yeah.
So it's like, and it's like, okay, they did it to the blacks back in the days, and they did it to the
Mm-hmm.
Hispanics together with the blacks. That's why we came into unity. And
Yep.
now we have a whole entire issue where now, because the black community will not stand for it, the Latino community is getting completely attacked. You know what I mean? And people are treating us very differently at jobs. Now you can get discriminated at jobs and try to go to EEOC. You'll be waiting months. I'm waiting till September for an appointment with them to discuss a discrimination case that I lost a job from. Like
Right.
there's an issue going on with them being discriminatory towards Hispanics everywhere. It's got to stop. And it's crazy because the vast amount of America that has birthright citizen Hispanics that are here, there's a very large percentage that helps into our economy. For them
Yep.
to be treating us this way, it's really disgusting. I have to speak on that, and it's crazy.